Just begin to settle into a comfortable seated posture, whatever that means for you. And if it's still a little too early for that, feel free to grab a pillow and put it underneath just to prop yourself up a little bit. And just whatever cross-legged or seated posture feels good for you. And we'll just take a couple breaths as we inhale the shoulders up, exhale the shoulders down. Just coming to settle in a bit. You can choose to have the hands palms down on the knees or maybe palms up, depending on how you're feeling. And then just energetically feel the spine lengthen. So starting at the tailbone, just see if you can bring yourself a little bit taller, but then at the same time, try to relax the hips. So you'll find sort of this perfect balance. You might lean back a little or come forward a little, and you'll find this spot where you can just stack the bones, add a little tuck to the chin, and the crown is pulling up towards the ceiling. Let's just take a couple deep breaths here. So beginning to deepen the breath, trying to release and wash away as much of the to-do list as is possible in the morning, and allow yourself to really be present here. Maybe using that visualization of the breath traveling along the spine. Maybe using a mantra or setting an intention right now. If it's in your practice, invoking the ujjayi breath, so that little constriction in the throat so that you can really hear the sound of your breath, which will allow you to connect the movement with the breath. Our focus today will be a yoga term called Vinyasa Krama. So what the practice we do often together is Vinyasa. And Vinyasa just means syncing the breath and movement. So we're really going to focus on that today. But also the word Krama, which means stages or steps. So as I normally do, I'll offer different steps as we move along, but we'll also use this sort of as a little metaphor for our practice that goes off the mat today. So knowing that we all have goals, finish lines that we hope to reach, and that we can simply take it step by step and not look to always leap to that finish line, and enjoy the journey to get us there. So allowing today's practice to be the first little journey you might be taking in your day, respecting where your body is at in the morning, which might be different than our usual afternoon practice, and allowing yourself to really take it step by step. And right now, that first step is just slowing the breath and bringing yourself right here. On our next inhale, we're going to inhale the arms up overhead, bring the palms together, bring that gaze up to your thumb. And as you exhale, you're going to let one hand come down to the side and reach up overhead, just coming into a little side bend. Inhaling through center and exhaling to that other side. Warming up the spine, the side body. Focusing on that marrying of breath and movement. You can close the eyes during these beginning movements if it feels good. We'll switch it up a bit. We'll inhale nice and tall and then exhale to twist. Either side is fine. Inhaling up, exhaling, twisting. One more round. Inhale, up through center. Exhale, you're going to bring the hands back behind you to interlock. So if you can, bringing them back. Inhale, nice and tall. And then as you exhale, you're going to bring the fist over to the right side on the hip there. And then you're gonna gaze over that right shoulder. So you should feel a nice stretch along the neck through that left shoulder. Inhale, stretch it out. Exhale, bring it over to the left. Inhale, exhale. One more, inhale, exhale. Inhale, open one more time. This time, we're gonna let ourselves bend forward. So as you exhale, let the heart pull you forward. Bring the hands up and over, and then release the neck or head wherever you get, and then really squeeze the shoulder blades together. Try to bring the palms together. One more deep breath here. And as you exhale, peel yourself back up, release the hands, just shake out the shoulders. We're gonna work on opening the shoulders, the chest, and our hips a bit this morning. So we'll come to just leaning back. We're gonna do a little bit of both to warm up our core, and we'll take this through steps and stages as well, and feel free to stop at your stage. So first, we're just sitting with the back really, really straight. Feels like our heart and chest is peeling open. We're gonna gaze straight ahead so we have a nice long spine. And we'll just inhale to lift a foot, exhale to put it down. Move with your breath. Really might seem like a simple movement, but we're starting to just feel that connection from the hip to the core wrapping all the way around here. All right, so you can keep it at this one foot, or we're gonna play with lifting both feet. Back stays nice and straight, and drop it down. Lift it up, drop it down. Toes just tap, all right? Maybe you can keep the toes up and they don't touch the ground, but they still come up and down. Next step is we're gonna try to leave the hands or the feet up. Hands can come to the back of the knees here, or you can play with lifting. So right now it feels like your legs are working a lot. Zip them together so that the core can do the work instead. Inhale, exhale. One more deep breath. Inhale, exhale. Cross the legs, roll it over, coming into your tabletop posture. Finding the center of your mat. Just take a little time to shake out the hips, wag your tail, move it forward and back. Then coming to that neutral spine. So you're gonna push into the hands as if you're doing a plank pose. Push into the tops of the feet, or you can tuck the toes. And from here, we're just gonna come into a cat cow. Make sure there's that little micro bend in the elbows. Inhale to open. Exhale to curve and round. Inhale. Exhale. Feel free to close the eyes if it feels safe. Inhale. Exhale. Nice, long, deep breaths. One more round. Inhale. As you exhale, really push that belly up towards the spine. Tuck the chin. And come back to that neutral spine. We're going to inhale that right hand up to the sky. So just pause for a moment in this twist. And then as you exhale, thread the needle underneath. Bring that right hand through. Drop the shoulder, ear, cheek down to the mat. That left hand's going to come forward and stretch. So you should feel a really nice stretch. Now you're going to push into that right shoulder, into that right hand, into that left hand. Stay right here. Or if you want to play with a little bit of extra core, you're going to see if you can just touch that left foot back. So I'm stretching into like my left calf and I'm pushing the left ball of my foot down. This is just a little extra balance involved here. You might see if you can lift that left foot up and tap it down. Lift it up, tap it down. Last one. Tap it down, bend that knee back. Bring that left hand in so you can sweep it up on the inhale. Exhale, bring it down. Taking that to the other side. Inhale that left arm up. Exhale, thread the needle, belly button to spine. Let that shoulder, cheek, head rest. Right hand stretches forward, pushing into the back of that left shoulder and the back of your left hand, top of your right hand. You can stay right here, or you might play with trying to stretch that right leg back. 3 taps if you want to add on a little bit of core and balance. Last one. Slowly bringing that knee back down, right hand comes back so you can inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, bring it down. We're gonna come into puppy pose. So puppy pose, our hips stay over our knees and we stretch our hands forward and we drop and melt our heart down. You can drop the forehead or the chin. Chin will be really intense, so be mindful if that doesn't feel good on the neck, just drop the forehead down. Feel the heart melt down, feel a nice stretch through the armpits, the tops of the shoulders. And then we're gonna slither all the way forward onto our belly. Once we're on our belly, we're gonna play with a little breathing cobra. You have the option just to kind of take a traditional cobra with the hands right under the shoulders. Or you might play with taking the hands a little bit wide, even wider than your mat. And you're gonna come to your fingertips. So pushing the fingertips into the ground. As we inhale, we're just kind of coming to a little baby cobra. Push the pubic bone into the ground, push the tops of the feet into the mat so much that the knees lift. So really engaging the core. Exhale down. Inhale, peel yourself up. Exhale down. Each time we do this, we're squeezing the shoulder blades together. Inhale up, maybe a little bit higher. Exhale down. We got 2 more. Working on opening the chest. Inhale up. Exhale down. One last one. Inhale. Peeling yourself up. Exhale. Sink it all the way down. Push into the hands. Push yourself back into child's pose. Stretch out that lower back. One more deep breath here. And then coming back up to that tabletop. We've got one more posture here before we come into our flow. You're gonna take that left foot and stretch it back like we're coming into our side plank, but we're not gonna quite come there yet. So we're just gonna bring that right foot back to kickstand it to give us a little bit more balance. And then you're gonna bring your hand to your hip. All right, so we should have a really solid base here with that kickstand. And then I'm pushing into my hand and I get a little micro bend in my elbow, so I'm not hyperextending. My shoulders are stacked, my hips are as stacked as I can get them. So you can stay right here or you can play with trying to lift that leg up. All right, you can play with maybe just some taps here as a step. All right, if you want, you can take that step up and try bending and pointing, bending, pointing. So that's going to challenge our balance a little bit more. Last step is we're going to bend all the way back and maybe bring that left hand to the foot or to the ankle. And I'm making sure I keep my hips stacked, my shoulders stacked. I'm not falling forward here or curling the back. And then if I have it available, I'm going to kick into that foot a little bit to stretch out that front hip flexor. One more deep breath here. And we're going to slowly release the same way we came. So I'm going to stretch my leg out, bring that hand down, tap it down, bring it back around. Sounded like a song. All right, we'll take this to the other side. So we're going to lift that opposite leg back, drop it down back behind you. Should be the right leg back, we're on our left now. Inhale that right hand to the hip. And then just find that stability here. You can kickstand that foot out. Really push firmly into the hand as if you're doing like a one-arm push-up. And then get that elbow with a little micro bend. From here, you might play with lifting that foot up and tapping it down. Or you might try pulling the bend and flex. All right, from here, maybe when you bend, you can play with grabbing the foot or ankle. You can stay right here, or you can start to kick into that foot a bit to help open the chest. Imagine the shoulder blades squeezing together. One more deep breath. And then slowly releasing in the same way we got there. Extend, drop it down, come back to our tabletop. Next, we're gonna tuck the toes and push it back into our first downward facing dog. All right, so pedal it out. Take as much movement as you need. Wag the tail. Oh. And then start to settle into a little stillness in that down dog. Let the heels sink towards the earth. Let the heart melt towards your legs. Pushing firmly into each knuckle of your hand. And try to release the shoulder blades away from the ears. Next inhale, we'll come to the tiptoes. Exhale, step to the front of your mat, forward fold. Let's hold here for a moment. Shake out the neck, shake out the head. Maybe bend one leg and flex the other just to feel into the hips a bit. Then bring the feet nice and close together. We'll inhale, half lift. Exhale, deep fold, tuck the chin. Inhale, bring it all the way up. Press the palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's pause here for a moment, closing the eyes, bringing the thumbs to the sternum, taking a moment to reconnect with that intention. Allowing yourself to take today one step at a time, or practice one step at a time. And we'll begin with our Surya Namaskar. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge, diving down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step walker, floated back to plank. Maybe lowering the knees, keeping that core engaged. Exhale all the way down. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, cobra. Exhale, lower it down. Push yourself back, downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths here. Finding that drishti or focal point in your down dog to help keep yourself present. One more deep breath. Inhale to the tiptoes. Exhale, step walker, float it forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, deep fold. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands to heart center. Round 2. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step walker, float it back. Maybe keeping the knees up, elbows tucked in tight, lowering all the way down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower it down. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths. Work on getting that straight line from the wrist crease to the top of the tailbone, bending the knees as much as you need. Inhale to the toes, exhale to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, deep fold. Inhale, bring it all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll take our 3rd and final round at our own pace with our own breath as you are ready. Take your time to finish that third and final round. Bringing the hands to heart center, pausing once again. Deep breaths. We'll come to flow together once more. Inhaling the arms up. Exhale, hinge and dive down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plank the hands, step walker, float it back. Lowering down. Inhale, squeeze those shoulder blades. Exhale, lower down, push back, downward facing dog. Inhaling our right leg up to the sky, three-legged dog, one full breath here. We'll come into our hip opening series. Exhale, bring that right leg forward. Left knee can stay up or you can drop it down to the ground. Inhale, opening the heart, letting those hips sink as much as you can. Exhale, straighten that front leg, push the hips back, bowing over that front shin. Inhale, sinking the hips, opening the heart. Exhale, lift the hips, push them back, bowing forward. 2 more deep breaths. Inhaling, we'll meet in that forward lunge and we'll all drop the knee down. If you need to double up the mat for a little extra knee protection, go ahead and do that. But our goal is to lean forward so much that we're really on the top of our knee, not on our kneecap. So this is how we know we're really getting into that front hip flexors, that we're really sinking in as much as possible. From here, we're going to bring ourselves to the inside of our right foot. So both hands are on the inside. We're gonna stay up here and just bend into that back leg. So you might stay right here, or you might plant that right hand and reach the left hand around to see if you can grab the foot. No big deal if you can't and you're just bending. You might even do a little bit dynamic movement with the breath here. Don't even have to keep it up. If it's available, you can reach and just get into that hip flexor a little bit more deeply. One more deep breath here. Slowly with control, release. And then we'll lift that knee up, both legs straight, coming to our wide-legged forward fold. Opening up the legs to a comfortable stance for you. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, dropping the heart down, bringing the forearms closer to the ground if you can. Release the neck and head, hanging down. 2 deep breaths here. Inhale, peeling yourself up into that half lift. Exhale, bring it to the back of the mat. Same thing, left side. Inhale, drop the hips as low as you can. Exhale, straighten both legs, push the hips back, bowing down. Knee can be on the ground here, or it can be up. 2 more deep breaths. Then we'll all bring that right knee down to the ground. You can double up that mat if you need to. And then really sink it forward so much that you're got just the top of that knee on the ground. All right? You can bring both hands inside to the inside of that left foot. You can stay right here. This is a very intense hip opener, so this is a great place to be. Or you might play with just bending that foot a little bit and releasing. Seeing how that feels for you if you can. Hanging tight right there. If it's available, reaching that right hand back to look for that foot. And opening up that right hip flexor. Very, very intense stretch here. Don't worry if we're just playing with a little dynamic movement. One more deep breath. And slowly releasing there. Bringing the hands back onto either side of that right foot. Straightening both legs. Bringing yourself back to that wide-legged fold. Maybe heel toe the feet a little bit wider. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, lower yourself down. Release the neck and head. 2 deep breaths here. Let gravity do the work. Let your weight sink back into your heels a bit. Next, inhale, bring it up to a half lift. Exhale, bring yourself back over to that right leg. Step it back. You can flow here or just push back, downward facing dog. You can always skip that extra flow and just come back to take a couple of breaths right here. Next, inhale, we'll let that right leg rise into our 3-legged dog. 1 full breath. Really let that left heel sink down to the earth. Exhale, bring it forward. Step it in between. We're going to prepare for high lunge now. So getting onto that left ball of the foot. Our goal is really to get the left heel up above the left ball of our foot. And then we're going to bring ourselves up. So if my heel is sinking back behind rather than on top of the ball, I won't have as much balance. So just something to play with and notice. And then getting that right knee over the right ankle as much as possible. Inhale, the arms up. Just feeling that left hip flexor open a bit more. 1 more deep breath here. And then we're actually going to come into Warrior 1, so you let that heel sink back and get a little break there. Now, Warrior 1, we still want the hips forward. We tend, when we drop that heel, to kind of open the hips to the side, but try really hard by pushing in to the left edge of that foot to really push those hips forward. All right? Arms up overhead. We're going to come into Humble Warrior here to open our heart and our shoulders a little bit more. So we're going to bring the hands back behind us. Now, if this interlocking does not work for you, you can just grab opposite elbow as well. Inhale, open the heart, open the chest, and then as you exhale, we're bowing forward over that right leg. You've got a couple options here. You can just relax your body on the top of that leg. Yes, that's okay. Release the neck and head. If it's available to you, you're going to try to connect by bringing the body more to the inside of that right leg. If it's a possibility, you're going to connect the right shoulder and the right knee, and then really trying to drop the head as close to the ground as you can. Interlock the hands by pulling the palms together, and then one more time adjusting those fists as high as you can to point up. We got 1 more breath here. You got this. Inhale, bring yourself back all the way up to that Warrior 1. Exhale, bring our hands to heart center. Inhale, 1 deep breath here. Exhale, we're going to bring our hands down to the mat, coming into a modified Warrior 3. So we're just focusing on the lower body right now. Our hands are on the ground, so we can just really think about pushing back like a donkey kick through that left foot, engaging the core, and keeping the hips squared rather than stacked. 1 more deep breath, really ground into that standing foot. And then as you exhale, that left foot's going to come all the way back. Plant the hands, step it back. You can flow or push back, downward facing dog. One full deep breath in downward facing dog. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, step it through. Prepare for that high lunge. Get that heel over the ball of the foot, knee over ankle. Inhale the arms up. Just one full deep breath here to open into that front hip flexor a little bit more deeply. Then we're gonna take that back foot, step it forward. Focus on bringing both hips as forward as you can, keeping that knee over ankle into warrior one. Then on our next exhale, we'll bring the hands back behind us, interlocking our opposite elbow. Inhale, peel that heart open. Exhale, slowly bowing down. Find your best place. Maybe this morning you just need to rest on that leg and focus on squeezing the shoulder blades together. If it's available, come to the inside of that leg and drop the head down a little bit lower. Wherever you end up, release the neck and head. Keep pushing into that back edge foot to try to bring more of that weight into that back foot. One more deep breath. Next inhale, peel yourself all the way back up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Coming into our modified warrior three, bringing the hands to the ground and kicking that back foot up. Really kick through that back heel. Think about lifting the belly button up towards the spine, stacking the hips. Sorry, not stacking hips, squaring the hips. Those back toes are pointing down if the hips are squared. One more deep breath. As you exhale with control, step that right foot back, plant the hands, flow or push back downward facing dog. Once you get to that down dog, let's drop it into our child's pose. Drop the knees down, sit the hips back, and come to rest. Taking about 3 to 5 deep breaths here, reconnecting with that intention, reconnecting with the breath. We'll quick come back into our down dog. We're just gonna bring ourselves into pigeon to rest before our next flow here. So we're gonna inhale that right leg up. As you exhale, bring it forward. Let that left foot work its way back. Inhale yourself nice and tall. Get up onto the tips of your fingers like we did in that cobra before. And then as you exhale, bring yourself down. Maybe forearms is what we do this morning. Once again, just be mindful of how your body's feeling at this time of day. Maybe you can widen the elbows and sink it all the way down. Let's take about 3 deep breaths here. All right, so you can keep yourself right here if you want. We're gonna play with a little bit more of that hip opening in pigeon, but if you wanna stay right there, by all means, please do. So we're gonna play with kicking into that back foot, and you might stay right here, or you might bring the right hand to the heart center on the ground, and then reach back with that left hand, so you can pull that foot a little bit closer, or you might see how it feels to kick into that hand instead. You'll see where you get a better stretch. Take one more deep breath here. And we'll release and we'll all come back up. Bring ourselves into downward facing dog for a moment just to switch sides. Left leg rises and bring it forward. Sink those right toes back as far as they'll let you go. Inhale nice and tall on the fingertips. Exhale, slowly lower yourself down. Relax. Let yourself just completely surrender to the pose, knowing one side might be completely different from the other side, or this time of day might be completely different, and that's okay. 2 more deep breaths. And you can stay right here if that's what you're feeling for this morning. If you want to get that little bit of hip stretch, we'll bring ourselves up. We'll kick into that back foot. You might just play with the dynamic stretch there, kicking and releasing. Left hand comes right under the heart. Micro bend in that left elbow. Reach that right hand back. Pull either the foot towards the bum or kick into the foot. So you'll notice if you pull, you'll get more of a hip flexor and quad stretch. And if you kick, it's going to be more of a shoulder and heart opener. Do what feels right for you. 1 more breath. And slowly release down. We'll all come back up. Tuck those toes, come back into downward facing dog. Shake it out a little bit. Now I kind of tricked you guys because we normally would do pigeon at the end, but we've got 1 more round of flow. And I'm hoping that little extra hip opener helped us out. So if you feel like you need to come down to child's pose and take a rest, feel free to do so. Otherwise, we've got 1 more round. All right. Let's take a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, right leg rises up, 3-legged dog, deep breath. Exhale, come step it through. This time just preparing for our warrior 1. So we're gonna skip that high lunge this round. Coming up, left heel is down on the ground, pushing back through that edge of the foot to help us bring both hips forward. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bring hands back behind us, interlacing. Inhale, open. Exhale, humble warrior. Maybe this time you can take it a little bit deeper. Press the palms together. Press the shoulder blades together. 1 more deep breath. Now from here, we're gonna release the hands down to the ground. And from here, bring ourselves up into that warrior 3, modified. All right, so fire up through that left foot. And then slowly inhale, maybe you can come to the fingertips. Maybe you can bring the hands off the ground and bring it to heart center, coming into warrior 3. 1 more deep breath. And we're gonna release the hands back down. Let's just tap that left foot back for a second. We're gonna come into, we did this on our knees earlier, but it's called candy cane pose. So we're gonna bend into this foot. All right, you might stay right here, but now you're gonna open the hips, plant that right hand. It's very similar to our half moon, but our foot's bent, okay? That left hand can come to the hip, or you might be able to grab that foot or that ankle, possibly, depending how open you got that hip. All right, you can stay right here with both hands on the ground and just bend that back foot. Or you can hang on here. We got 1 more deep breath. Slowly drop the hands down, step that left foot back, right foot to meet, flow or push back downward facing dog. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, let it go. Last side here. Inhale, left foot up to the sky. Exhale, step it through. Prepare for warrior 1. Drop that back heel. Inhale. Exhale, hands come back around. Interlace the fingertips, open up the heart. Exhale, humble warrior. Really push those palms together, drop the head down, lift the fists up towards the sky. One more deep breath. Slowly release the hands, plant them down on the ground, push yourself up, modified warrior 3. Fingertips are touching, fire up that back leg. You can keep the fingers on the ground, maybe play with bringing the hands to heart center. We're just here for a short bit. One more deep breath. Hands come back down. Left hand comes a little bit wider so you can stack the hips and bend into that top leg. Right hand can come up to the hip. Maybe you stay right here. Maybe keep that hand on the ground. Maybe you can reach back to grab that right foot coming into full candy cane. One more deep breath. Slowly release the foot. Bring that hand back down. Step it all the way back. Flow or not to flow. Last one here. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's drop the knees. Sink the hips back. Child's pose. Let the heart melt down towards the mat. Maybe even bring the arms back around alongside of the knees and legs to give yourself a proper rest. Really let the heart melt down. Relax. Next inhale, we're going to slowly peel ourselves up, coming onto our knees. So we'll come into our camel pose today for a back bend, all right? And you've got a couple different options. One option that we haven't really practiced before is that you can just keep your knees on the ground like so, rather than coming up, and bring the hands back behind you and squeeze the shoulder blades and just open the heart here. Maybe in the morning this is enough. And so you're just really working and bringing your hands as close together as you can, shoulder blades together and opening there. If you want a little bit more of the back bend, that one's really just more of the heart opening, mild back bend, but you can come up onto the knees, all right? You should have about one fist in between your kneecaps. And then your feet coming straight back from your knees, all right? From here, you're gonna bring the hands to your lower back, fingers pointing down, and you're working on squeezing the elbows as close together as you can. So we'll take 2 rounds of this. First round can be quite mild. If you wanna go full camel, go for it. We'll do it in the second round if you wanna wait it out. So bring the elbows together, let the chest peel open, and then you're gonna bring the gaze up and let the upper body drop back a bit. Now we don't want to just let the head completely go, but we're opening up that throat and chest and heart area. Pushing the hands into the lower back as the lower back pushes back a bit. One more deep breath. As you exhale, slowly let the hips come back. Release the hands down, allow the back to neutralize. Now we don't want to just come into a child's pose straight away because we don't want to go from back bending to front forward folding that close together. We will eventually do that, but we're not going there just yet. So we'll go up for a second round. You can do the same thing, either option I've offered. Otherwise, I'll offer the option as we come up, you can tuck your toes and we'll eventually drop our hands back to the heels there. But let's come into that slowly. So bringing the palms to the lower back, squeezing the shoulder blades together, squeezing the elbows together, slowly dropping the head back. Feel the chest open. Push into the toes, push into the knees, bring the belly button towards the spine. Tuck the tailbone and slowly, if it feels safe, you can bring one hand down and the next hand down. Coming into your camel pose. Try to take 2 more deep breaths here, but of course, if there's any pain, slowly come out. And we'll slowly bring one hand up and the other hand back up. Bringing ourselves back to that neutral spine. Let the hips sink down. Bring the hands to the knees. Just take a breath or two here. It's a very intense shoulder opener, heart opener, and back bend. So we just want to let that neutralize. Then we'll come to fold forward, come into that child's pose, releasing the lower back. One more deep breath here. All right, so we're gonna just finish out here with a shoulder stand into our plow pose, into our fish pose, into our shavasana. So if you prefer to do your shoulder stand on the wall, you can move your mat closer to the wall just to help you walk your feet up the wall a bit. If you're comfortable with doing it in the middle of the mat, we'll go with that. All right. So you're gonna come to lie down on your back. You wanna make sure you have room to bring the feet overhead and room to also lay down. So just make sure you're in a comfortable space so you won't have to wiggle around too much in our closing series here. So you're gonna bring the feet straight up to a 90-degree angle with your body. Plant the hands into the mat. Push the lower back into the mat, engaging the core. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, bring the feet overhead, bringing the hips up over your shoulders, bringing the shoulders closer together, and then bringing the hands to the lower back as you lift your feet up towards the sky. You can choose to either flex or point the feet, but zip the legs together and work on trying to bring the ankles over the hips. So we tend to let the ankles be over the head, but we want to try to bring them back a bit, which will, yes, make you use the core more. We're going to try to take 6 more deep breaths here. We want to really focus on getting our weight in our shoulders, not in our neck. We shouldn't have any pain in the neck. If there is, just slowly, slowly take yourself down. Try not to look around, just gazing up to the toes. You're going to slowly begin to let the toes come back down overhead with control. Now maybe the toes touch the ground, maybe they don't. If they don't, keep the hands here on your back. And you can still do plow pose without the feet touching the ground, that's fine. If they touch the ground, then you can release the hands down, pushing into the mat. Taking a couple deep breaths here. And then slowly with control, push into the hands, slowly releasing ourselves down, coming through that like forward fold, inch by inch. One last little core engagement. Now let the hands come under the bum as you release the bum down to the ground. Bring the elbows close to your body as the feet come down. You push into the elbows to lift the upper body. Feet are pointed and the legs are zipped together. Slowly drop the crown of the head to the mat, exposing the neck, the heart. Few deep breaths here. Closing the eyes or gazing to the tip of the nose. And gently lifting the head back up. Untuck the elbows so you can come slowly onto the mat. Rocking the head side to side to release any tension. We'll gently bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little tight rock or squeeze. And let the knees fall over to either side, opening the arms out to a T. Breathe deeply through the twist. Inhale, rolling back through center. Exhale, let the knees drop over to the opposite side. Gaze goes over to the opposite shoulder. Next, inhale, slowly coming back through center. Taking about 10 rounds of breath to take yourself through any last postures, maybe a reclined butterfly or happy baby, or maybe you're ready to start bringing your body into that final resting pose of Shavasana. Take your time to get there. As you start to move into that posture, the very important final posture of our practice, just checking in to make sure you're releasing any tension remaining in the body. Starting at the toes, releasing through the feet and ankles, releasing the calves, all the muscles around the knees, your thighs up into the hips, releasing the glutes, releasing the lower back, the abdomen, letting the chest and shoulders melt into the mat all the way down to the fingertips. Releasing the neck, the jaw, all the tiny muscles around your mouth, your nose, your eyes, your ears. Finally releasing all the way through to the crown of the head. Allowing yourself to honor this final posture by being present with the breath, with your mantra, or with your intention. Letting the Shavasana be a step-by-step process. So when or if the mind wanders, just acknowledge that and try to bring it back. Contrary to the way we think about it, our world is a process, not a collection of objects. Every element in the universe is constantly changing. Events in nature do not just happen. They unfold and they develop. Allow this to be your practice on and off the mat. Allow yourself to unfold. Allow yourself to develop. On the next inhale, bringing the arms up overhead, stretching fingertips to toes. And as you exhale, bringing knees into the chest and rolling on to your favorite side, resting in the first posture our bodies ever knew. Taking a moment here to find gratitude, focusing on someone or something that fills every cell of your body with joy. And as you're ready, bringing yourself up to a comfortable seated posture, sitting nice and tall. Bringing the palms together to generate heat and energy. And transferring this energy over the eyes. May we use this energy to see the beauty within ourselves and others. It's more. Transferring this energy over our ears. May we use this beauty to hear positive thoughts about ourselves and others. Third and final time. This time transferring the energy over our hearts. May we use this energy to live our truth and find the beauty in all living beings. Inhaling the arms up overhead and exhaling the hands to heart center. Namaste.